galamsey na me hu se nkrofobia start ade bi na se na mu blemu akufu ado no na nya akufu na galamsey na ye be law ye be common sense ye be scenarios and I've always said, let me say this KBA you new me when it comes to galamsey opa tag me Boko Haram and family when it comes to say yentu obika na me ye advocacy amoma how you tag me I don't care. And this area, I wouldn't say be able to comment be na buma bema you do say to and family home. Having established that caveat. Enra, me wana the Belgium, me do you man azambu Ephraim say chale. You see a colleague still nyame nko nya accident. Ti me te na me so we normal. Cause me ban no pana chale ana pressure wo lab o twen wo say. Enti ye front desk lady by deputy HR Tina. Oba no so yo. Na the one HR head of HR kasa anti am about rush ye no. Na ekoso no. Chale. Na me be hu say one was in coma back on the leg. Yeah, na some rushing from a ferry to Confanoche. Why wouldn't you boss take na coma? Wow. Na then year EPA for call baby. No more kona na mo na mo boase eta 9 months dey ekusi bi ni ko sense bi. No more ye na na fment bi timoto so ba. No more ba no medu ya EPA boss na grant interview. So this is not hearsay. Yeah. This is not This is not my hallucinations or imagination. See, where 3 news, TV3 for any caso casa or TV. So me can be quoting am say. The soldier said, and I'll prove why. Blame me at the man, Mahama, Kufuado. I said, be Mahama. I'll prove to you here. And 2 years in no be dimatem and come baby answer. Or say, the soldiers said they couldn't overpower the heavily armed galamseyers, so we had to run for our lives. EPA boss on accident. This is the worst of the EPA boss, Professor Kluchi, a full professor in physics. Or say, soldier for no more coy, no more two. And then Yama galamsey for the abano, alutamuna muyechi. Na almost sha, omunti mintina so budame. I guess I know. Okay. Now, this is the accident. So why NG were Jumada? You know how strong this car is. Car will be no intiminko. Into a more ban Miricantino, called Wasi Kumasi, there's 1 at 30 minutes. Now, so Mukofa Diaso. Ekofa Dunkwa baby. And on the plane career. And on Mone Galamsey car near the trotter tank and econo. Interestingly. Head on collision. No Masia for a head on collision. Second the kissy bam. Say. Aluta in a car. 8 journalists. Sad desert car winning ISR. 8 journalists need EP official saying a car. This is the state of the car. Me see a colleague back as you speak. He's battling for his life at Confanoche. Now, Aluta, me tell story now. What gave me chills was quote away from the 3 news report in Oye, and I'm coming to read for you. Or say, we had the military with us, and the national security was also with us. So, my catcher say, when I was going to school, one of the things my lecturers taught me was how to do sentence analysis. Or say, we had the military. So, one, Professor Kluche, and no EPA, Langas, on the call you. No military, soldiers, and also someone national security. Was also with us, but then we saw that we couldn't exchange fire or fight them, so we had to run for our lives. Nomenclature, or I say we had to walk. He is a full professor in physics. What literatures on him how to use phrases and sentences. So even in the face of military uniform now, in the face of national security uniform now, say, "Mamini Jame, but then who kawura." 3 things in just this paragraph. I say, in the course of running and speeding on the road, we encountered this accident. So, in science, there can be correlations. Is it directly correlated or indirectly correlated?
In law, you can say causation.
Causations.
Yes.
It is a journalist who there's a correlation between their death or this accident and what happened at Obuasi. So, I'm unable to galamsey for the tip in the two, but I know more than Obuasi. Some more community mining. So the death of those 8 heroes is linked to Galamsey. I'm giving you themes and patterns. Dr. Jones Opoku, a criminology can see. I just see back one, be a coincidence. It's me no ABABB. Be simi and san a pattern. So you sit down when you analyze the pattern. Now, Kweti, I looked at you say. One of the cars, which had EPA staff and some of the journalists, had a head-on collusion with a truck that was actually carrying some pipes for Galamsey operations. So, Omu journey through Abua's momentum from main road. And in fact, when you listen to her on UTV, National Security in Accra called that the Galamseys had laid ambushes on Kwamu Bar. Kebi kwa kombi e komekum krofowe. Tine so omo kofa kwan foforo di aso kofa dunkwaw. Na nkobwa ne nkawe de kwan ni mum. Eno be pie nkawe. Na car na esan no menya accident na eya Galamsey for car e de pipe uko. Intine sa kire say Galamsey is no boase. Galamsey is also on the nkawe stretch. Nhyira. On se nyame ye na ade. Now, mate some funny commentary bi. Oh, Mahama shouldn't be blamed for Galamsey. And I'm blaming Akufo-Addo for Galamsey, see, because they want to whitewash Akufo-Addo or MPP. Sometimes when people speak and they say, I don't know, I've toned down on social media, I get upset at these things. Let's do a constitutional process here. When you go to Article 243 of the Constitution, or say, there shall be a district chief executive for every district, who shall be appointed by the president with prior approval of not less than 2/3 majority of members of the assembly present and voting at the meeting. The DC, that is 2432, the DC shall A, preside at the meetings of the executive committee of the assembly. B, be responsible for the day-to-day performance of the executive and administrative functions of the district. Aluta, Yenina, 243. Who appoints the DC? DC nina appointed no. It's the president. Right? Yeah. DC is the president. Inti say ye ko ba bi na Galamsey wo ho. And Galamsey is so illegal mining and illegality is happening. You see, interestingly, when you read the Local Government Act, the DCE there is the head of security. The district police command respond to him. The district fire officer responds to him. The BNI operative for the district responds to him. The national security person for the district responds to him. Inti Galamsey koswa. Sa kwa we beka so ni me nyema miensa. Utwam for ye liar. Washada. And also ye incompetent. Me dent me try me now right and there masa. That is 243. Yeah. And it is a Akufo-Addo and Shama Galamsey nya wa district bia. Wo si emblem wan. Aluta wotie optie wo ye DC so nim za ogugu se kuzo ada ana ofie ana problem me madu daddy nti e ba ye be di semfo ha na ama na ye ba ya ye kwa akra esqua wo na be kwa no kuku na be kwa.
Yes, because we a hoster, you are the mirror in which the show reflects.
Exactly, so kuku come and ask you Aluta then they see wa no the sa brief ni kwa kra. So what are we talking about? So the DC responds to the regional minister, who in this case is my programs manager. That he responds to the local government minister and the president. So if I'm fully man on some emblem wine, I'm not done. Article 243. Young Koso. Article 256. Okay. 1. There shall be a president. The president shall, with prior approval of parliament, appoint for each region a regional minister who shall A, represent the president in the region, be responsible for the coordination and direction of the administrative machinery in the region. Mijina mara we to kasi mi blemu Mahama for Galamsey anyadwuma. Franka mo akwo yi ti kromu a, oboase ronte oni brief. Enka we pipes e ko no ni brief. Cocaine ye de kwa nko mo nte nkoche. Na ze won te so te ka ma yet mi jina ne achi cocaine. Intelligence on that no munya say intelligence for Galamsey. What are we talking about? What from this hypocrisy? Go wa ban na was nze me am president di. Mi wie yo. Yankoso, me se me nya law. Ba law ne de ye be hunu na mo sa kakra yinim no. Ko chapter 21. Article 256. 6. Or say every mineral in its natural state in, under or upon the lands in Ghana. Ye nyina ho. Or say unya diamond una gold rose suit Ghana minra bi e wa ha bia tie o se in ehasase nim under ehasase na se opon edasase no so a tie in Ghana rivers se minra no won suom e wo stream water sources bia in Ghana nsuo ni bibia o wanka minra nko Ghana nsuo na ba ufie no ni nyina no tie o se the exclusive economic zone and any area covered by the territorial sea or continental shelf is the property of the Republic of Ghana and shall be vested in the president on behalf of and in trust of the people of Ghana. What are we talking about in this country? I don't even kind of crunch the political party. They be am cause me on YouTube say. So I found fooling, you know, and the DMPP co-opposition.
The near Chirapa and San Yakin can is near Chirapa every carat of gold. Ounce of gold.
Carat doso.
Obi befano.
Carat doso.
Eye Japadia, they are share or Mampanyinsa. No, I share more be a real.
Exactly.
Yanko Ponso Ada Romantino. Adewe, no interpretation of this. Yes, we may not be caught. But also, when you read anything at all from the Constitution, obviously, there are three ways or the be interpreted. Either you use the literal interpretation, the purposive interpretation, or the golden rule or the mischief rule. And wherever you want to look at this from, this is a trite knowledge.
Every mineral in its natural state, in, under, or upon any land in Ghana, rivers, streams, water sources throughout Ghana, the exclusive economic zone, and any area covered by the territorial sea or continental shelf is the property of the Republic of Ghana and shall be vested in the president on behalf of and in trust of the people of Ghana. Article 243. Article 256. Another 256, 257. These three provisions are why MAHAMA can be blamed for GALAMSEY.
And how can you know Ghana you choose that purposive interpretation? So sometimes to after say why explaining your macro, you said the law ought to be interpreted not only what it is, but also what it ought to be.
Yes.
To the say what I can say you bear common sense. Commonsensically. The president is in charge of OBR, including you and myself.
And I'm saying say these provisions. No president, MAHAMA president for Bebano. He the back stops with them. Me see, Mimi programs manager when she left Muniha. Tio, Yabana TV Ayra. I'm the first person he will call. Before Kwasichum also calls him. The back stops with Kwasichum. So the back stops with President MAHAMA. Let's stop the hypocrisy from fooling. This is the constitution, the supreme document of the land. Me we I look to me some me we. When you read the statement of Professor Kluche, he talks about what? Arms. The military. Yankoso. This week, Brony Krum, ya chenkro for 9 months for. A two number boy no yana Michel Liwa. Ya say for be Western pistols. A two a ya brofo de and on the engine Ghana. About 2 months ago, Manso 9 months for ya. Okay, IGP task force. I'm going to say we have a IGP task force. You see, when we always talking about GALAMSEY, my man, water quality, beyond the water quality, is the proliferation of arms. Who is the commander-in-chief of Ghana's armed forces? Eugene Osei-Tutu. Who chairs the police council and IGP task force? Who chairs? It's not the vice president. Obia me so be catch obia say untimi blame am for GALAMSEY no nim ni okeka. Any emotions no dey kasa, it's not fact. DC no wo no. He is the head of the district security. Commander na wo on report to no. It is the commander na nyanya juma. The DC must report for the commander to be sacked. Say DC na so na complex that he must be sacked. Me see DC ni bi o ba bi o so nim GALAMSEY na he threatened. He's a liar. He's feigning ignorance or is incompetent. Mutimi ko tokrobim ko stop work produce permit. Tokrobim and then you see a plot so mutimi ko stop permit. Produce permit and stop work. Beba GALAMSEY any command so be a police station che GALAMSEY. Brony Krum report na ba na police station no me GALAMSEY no. Police station any permit and point no go. Any permit. Well I don't need try to won sir. What is this? Answer about GALAMSEY. There is we suddenly want to wear political partisan hat to be. Blame the president. Me say this you know what a Sutifi South. No? That day he should have been called to answer questions. Kolizara resonte anamebwa empintewo this in any omutikrum this enunim this week me intelligence aminyaye no kwesi prat confirmed it on Tuesday on pizza ezu nyomo ye one tailings no unsa wo fa pechi ekodu bia one sa hipster yato chekokan aluta omukoto no mo de mercury ni ade na sibroni krom no ma hono na tiewo mercury ni si na obi aka oh yes someone galamsey o honum say Rad Jesus Christ Ghana na ade na obehu ho no ade na obehu ho no o de fanta ne ho anwea no ana coke they use the same mercury cadmium arsenic and Makato saying climate say be infiltration it seeps ye ka siba me hu say na menchire no
as a sone kwase
enonum do suko
and the geographic akron because eventually it will affect the percolative water within the earth crust
and the water table since so say ya Ghana to because say ma mutu bo ofiam so mu ye safe no enye safe kwasi pride obeka nkro hu ni say Accra no nkrofo bi onso mu ntu Ghana say Accra gold bi eni wono omum to tailings no ma disguise ya faka akwa mako and you say we shouldn't blame who minim broni krom DCU minim no John Mahama he is the president now proving to you article 243 article 256 article 257 all meanwhile Ghana ha uti ufie na anya gold as ada no ufie wono abeye national security area
as I say you dey about do dey your man
exactly entina mining act no contract won sign away or he be na sign mining na sasa ka dey be ba bi na yes sign Accra. So let's stop this fanfooling and this hoodwinking. See, now you see, me, I'll be one of the people that I always talk against the excesses of the military. Hey, you're careful. Pay me brief, I'm a one. And you just said I've always said I will never lie on any state agency. I will not do with innuendos by fact. The next time some of these guys try this at 9 months, you're a fool.
Can I bo ano na odidom nanim no I know him personally sunyane oko 3BN oko ye garrison ho time ano ho na beti school training school ho ne ade so he's a very calm cool and collected gentleman say enye se minim no anka be me nwanwa se sa ade no chimisi but minim no se ne dimi na se de osi ye ne ne man that is why asem ne course no bi angu say any different person.
Mama 3 instances. Yes. Within a space of just about 8 to Manso and Shidium, Bruni Krum, and away. And you see, what is most worrying for me is the first line. Or say, we had the military with us, we had the national security with us. Yes. But then when we saw, but then when we saw that we couldn't exchange fire or fight them, we had to run for our lives. Nipa 8 a woo. Mejo Mahama wu enkura tomre mo mamu ha one day president Mahama na no mo ba mu ano one day e be vice president ena na son da yeda see e benya plane crash anipa 80 be wu cause of galamsey so mo kolonchi community yi ena na son ho da yeda say maame no utie UTV interview na o me channel the critical analysis we go check o say na o kam you took men to lift him imagine akura na koto amana ni ma intine na no let your party's interests take over your mind and cast aspersions and insult. But Makase, posterity will judge us. So finally, Ghana Water Resources Commission. Okay. Look at it. Because maybe I declare I understand it, but there are various factors here they check issue. The best quality the water index. Because beyond the turbidity, how murky the water is. Oh, yes, since when I say tea, any turbidity. It's Ghana water, you treating a turbidity.
Okay.
I'm treating heavy metal. So, I'm treating animal martimenum. Once again, you're doing insure is colorless. So, we say
odorless and tasteless.
Yes, but the man say insure white now. Ghana water, or ma insure now put on a near white man now. Oh, insure there, but entreaty are there. HP, the alkalinity and acidity, HT, water in the bachelor. Dissolve oxygen. Once water H2O. Yes. 2 hydrogen oxygen. Say check is hard any na. Adebako san check heavy metals. So when you ya white and say white. heavy metals in the who are cynical cadmium. Now, hey, water resource retains you. Near 8 could be an a good. Fair to good, a 51. Fair, you are one of fair to good. What could tot sardine woody? Sardine I aspire 8. Fair to good. This is the chart. This is the Water Resource Commission. When you look at it carefully, GALAMSEY began somewhere 2012 actively. Look at the data. It's not your emotions, it's the data. Water Resource Commission. Now had the look at it. You zoo way no ampensia and Cobra River and crowd. As I say, omo dilution factor crane. I say beyond recognition. Look at it. Now here, ye major Joshua ha voter region. So when you look at it, voter region hono, and I won't the activities of GALAMSEY. But here, do na ye poor water quality. Yellow no, poor water. Green ye fairly good. You so I want to call them no, ye fairly as a ye. And you know, Ebony maybe say ya. You may think why I'm passionate about it because Dr. Poku Sampina catch the yen. Nkola ye umasabe omokoti kulibini ho. Ebiti mienu ebinsa basa. Consultant nephrologist, you can nephrologist obi o ye kidney body. Doctor Leshkanza catch the consulting rooms. Especially in the GALAMSEY areas, cases eba. Dr. Kantu rumors fertility. And my intimate wo. O de wa ba brantie. O ye kama so po bebe wa po ba o e fie ni. Wakwamansi ekupebi. Mo be pem so a. Anya na maame bi na eye no. Eye GALAMSEY ni nsu no no ma na aduane a wo di no. These are the consequences of it. And the blame goes to the president because Article 243, Article 256, Article 257 says DC no one no bo ni din. Inti ekoba bi na say illegal mining na ekoso. I mean ka say me anya mining no. Mi fi kwa bibrem. Eni achimabu akwa. Yeah, mining. Yeah. But it's the responsibility on behalf of those doing the mining. And to see a court na DC what na legal cost so you wedi. Enya me you say na me yimedi. What we have done any journalist e ko kaba 3 nyame nko ankene nka beba na tuntumbo ha. Erastus has done ko jane ko Germany. See before you install the media for doing that Erastus so jane ko Germany. Ne family edu mribi unim secret na Erastus denam. So don't I be kasa ignorantly. The only thing we can do is the evidence. Erastus documentary, I'm a wound to me, and I'm caught. Yeah. If you don't know, Erastus documentary, and I'm asked someone Abujina Pobetro 2022. So wound to me license to enter the Tanum Rim Forest. That is the contribution of the media. What is left is the president to be decisive. Because baby you do know, and the military, one day, a bear papa nankasa. Near Kochi President MAHAMA. Look at it. Weapons. Yehumbi, unim say even Bronicom intelligence, ya che woman. All the 2 and 1 women say jama just for 9 months to be able to go. The jama the proliferation of arms. Ghana and Burkina Faso ne share border.
And I'm told say that Burkina be crack home.
Me see, the cyanide the never chronim. That is my intelligence. Yeah, the cyanide. Now, Charlie, I'll go overboard.
Okay. Eugene, me da se ano pay.